Good oaks. Sorry, Joanne. Sorry about your mama. And sorry about the comment about your son. I don't even know if your son was an addict. I do know addiction is a disease and that people oftentimes, it's a family disease. So family members are often the ones who suffer the most. All right, I just want to read some things that I find interesting. Just typed into Google why so many women don't report sexual harassment and assault. I'll take these off because I can read better actually when I put my face in it. When women started coming out of the woodwork stating that they had too been sexually harassed or assaulted by a man, people wondered why did they wait so long to report it? And why didn't they speak up in time? Isn't that crazy that there's not just one whole article or study about it? There are literally, when I typed it into the Google machine, thousands came up. One, as psychotherapists who specialize in working with former victims of abuse for nearly 40 years, I've found that there are actually many reasons why women don't report sexual harassment and sexual assault, including 1. Denial and minimization. Women who refuse to believe that the treatment they endured was actually abusive. They downplay how much they have been harmed by sexual harassment and even sexual assault. 2. Fear of consequences. Many fear losing their job, not being able to find another job, being passed over for promotion, or being branded a troublemaker. 3. Fear they will not be believed. Sexual misconduct is the most underreported crime because victims' accounts are often scrutinized to the point of exhaustion, and there has been a long history of women not being believed. Shame. Shame is at the core of the intense emotional wounding women and men experience when they are sexually violated. Abuse, by its very nature, is humiliating and dehumanizing. The victim feels invaded and defiled, while simultaneously experiencing the indignity of being helpless and at the mercy of another person. This sense of shame often causes the victim to blame themselves for the sexual misconduct of their perpetrator. Case in point, Lee Korfman, the woman who reported that at age 14, she was molested by Roy Moore, the controversial Republican candidate for Senate in Alabama. I felt responsible. I thought I was bad, is what she said. A history of being sexually violated. And this is a long deal here. I don't know that I'll be able to read it, or not all of it. But I know that, and I don't know, she probably don't mind me saying this because Amber has now found herself in the crosshairs of a small community here on YouTube. But we're not letting that tear her down. She's been able to withstand the pressure for a year already. So she's getting better through having to deal with this in this way, actually. But I know that Amber had similar things happen as a child and then in college as well at the University of Kansas. And this is just our story. And there are many stories as to why women don't come forward immediately. And it took approximately 3 weeks before I found out about it. And you can imagine having me as your husband, and then having this to tell your husband. So she only had the job because I got shingles, and it took me, nearly 2 months to even be able to get back in the work van, to even be able to stay awake for more than 3 hours at a time. So she took on the job to help support us while I was going through sickness, and so there's that. Automatically I felt very responsible. But then also I'm an emotional character who suffers from the disease of addiction and am in my own my own trouble from my own trauma from childhood, watching my mother get gang raped literally in front of me when I was 8 or 9 years old. We grew up in the projects of East Spencer and Spencer, North Carolina. They're just very, very small towns where literally there isn't a whole lot to do besides have sex with each other when you're young, bored teens. And every people from my babysitter to my stepdad treated me that way, and so I had a very confused childhood sexually as well. And then a lot of rage, and I guess you'd call it PTSD from the abuse that I suffered as a kid. So, yeah, when a guy like that hears that something like this has happened to his wife, absolutely lose my shit. She figured I would. She didn't know how to tell me without it getting me all riled up. And at the time, all we had were, shotguns. We had home protection weapons. I never carried a pistol until this happened, and after this happened, I carried a pistol up until a week ago, like a little more than a week ago. I decided after that, and from some advice, I just need to put them down. Even if they are after me, just fuck it, let them come and get me. Just, I walk a lot right now, and that's the way it is. But really, honestly, what am I going to be able to do if they see me walking down the road? They got me already. So after this happened, I just decided, screw it. I'm going to put it on the police department to protect us. They're just going to have to protect us. So, yeah, and we took the threats very seriously. Here's the deal. The man comes to my house. This is before I knew about this, right? To say that, made threats at the house. And he has told the police and other people, the people who did the internal investigation, that he never came by the house. And so I know he came by the house because I was standing right in front of him. So if he's lying about not coming by the house, to me, that means he's obviously lying about what happened. Just like you can't begin a story with a lie and then find the truth somewhere down the line. So once you've lied, the whole fucking thing is a lie. So whether or not Amber was my wife, because I knew that part to be true and he was dead face fucking lying, that sealed the deal for me. So even if there was even a question in my head, which there wasn't, but even if there had been, that seals the deal for me because I saw him on our property making threats. And he used innuendo, and he talked about it in the way like he had heard that we were trying to get him in trouble for something completely different, which wasn't true. And that it was so confusing to me. And so when he left, I went in. I was like, "What was this about? What's he even talking about?" Now, grant you, he's the owner of the bar Amber works at. Amber has been a bartender for 18 years up to this point. She's never reported anybody for anything, and she's had little harassment things along the way. It happens, but she knows the game. Like they say something about you when you bend over or whatever. She don't like it, but she's also not reporting every little thing that comes along. So for her to even have this to report means that it had to be something big, and it was her boss. So I knew that he had come to the house and made those threats. It was later on that evening, it was her birthday, later on that evening, that she told me what had happened. And there is no right way or wrong way to handle this if you're a victim. If you are a victim, if you're a victim of sexual assault, Godspeed to you, because it's so fucking hard, especially in this country, in this time, even in the Me Too movement, to come out and say that you are. This whole thing got triggered when, and I look, Kaz said exactly that I was putting my nose where it doesn't belong. And if I don't stop putting my nose where it doesn't belong, he's going to put his nose where it doesn't belong. Pause. And by that, I mean fuck Amber. Sorry. And by that, I mean I'm going to fuck Amber. So you think that sounds like, man, I would get with that. That girl, I'd get some of that. You think that's what that sounds like, Joe? It sounds more like to me, meaning I'm going to figure out where my dick is and try and see if I can't push it up in there. That's what it sounds like to me. And I know that's vulgar and I sound horrible, but of course I've been triggered. I was trying to have a decent opportunity to say something nice to Joanne because I've experienced Alzheimer's up close and personal. And I thought, I wasn't going to say anything. Typically I do lurk when I'm checking out that stuff, but I thought I would do that extend the olive branch, and you see where it got me. Um, saying that everyone's been instructed to lay off of Amber is the biggest fucking bullshit I've ever seen. You know, when the people who use her name in their name and say the shit that they say stop saying that, then perhaps I'll stop being furious and fighting for her. But you gotta say, like, I mean, what what kind of man are you if you don't stick up for your woman? That's a period end of it. So, bottom line here is we don't have air conditioning, by the way. This house is hot as hell. Um, Imagine it's a little bit like being out in the slobs, but our air conditioner broke. So go figure. $538 power bill, $500 to get my stupid ass out of jail, and then a birthday party. We just don't have the money to fix the air conditioner right now. So totally off subject. But I've been sleeping next to a window, and I've got all kinds of congestion and crap now too. So, and I think I hurt my back doing sit-ups yesterday. So thank you for whoever inspired me to do those sit-ups. I can't read this. I'll come on later to do a reading and a question and all that stuff for anybody who gives a fuck. Otherwise, feel free to look up why women don't report sexual harassment or sexual assault for yourself, since you're not somebody anybody would want to sexually assault.